Hey everybody, and welcome to Early Access Podcast, episode 87, take 2. I had to stop the first one a couple minutes in because my cat decided to destroy a part of my girlfriend's puzzle, which is sitting several feet to my left, and I had to kick her out of here because screw the cat. She's destroying my shit, and I don't want to deal with that, so I had to fix the puzzle, and now we are back. I hope everybody had a happy and safe New Year. I didn't do much. I just hung out with my girlfriend at home. You know, it's safer and more cost-effective to hang out at home and drink than it is to go out and drink. I recommend everybody doing that if you're of age, of course. But stay home. It's safer. It's cheaper. It's better than going out and not doing it that way. So, like I had mentioned in the last episode, though, there was really nothing that came out during the breaks. If you go look at the new releases on Steam, it's a lot of DLC. There's the Steam Winter Sale still going on. You probably have the rest of today by the time this goes up to get some stuff. But, you know, some stuff came out on the 1st. And then, yeah, like nothing comes out over the weekend, which is common. Some DLC, a couple random games, more DLC. Then there's the lulls in between the episodes, like the weekends, like 25th through the 28th. So it really hasn't been much over the last couple episodes. I did grab a couple things that I had missed, and we're going to be talking about those games as well. But as for what I've played, I haven't really played much. I did pick up Elite Dangerous, though, on Xbox. It was on sale on Xbox. It's actually on sale on PC right now for, God, you'll probably get like 10 hours of that out of this if you listen to it as soon as it goes live. Out of the sale price, it's $15 on Steam, Elite Dangerous. So I wanted to talk about Elite Dangerous, though, because I enjoy these types of games. It's a first-person spaceship simulator, 3D sim, flying around in space. You run in trade routes. You know, you can kill pirates. You can upgrade your ship. You can do different quests, like missions that you get from different, like, hub, like, little space stations that you can stop at. The game's huge. There's a lot to do. It's got a steep learning curve, though, so be warned of that. I wanted to bring it up, though, because I mentioned in, I think it was the last episode or the episode before that, that they did like an early access expansion, which I thought it was. I thought it was an early access expansion pack. Oh, excuse me, I keep burping. So it's actually not an expansion. I mean, it is an expansion, which the way they're doing it's weird. So they released a couple weeks ago Elite Dangerous Horizons. So I thought it was an early access expansion pack, but it seems like what it is kind of even a little bit weirder than that. So it's a standalone product that also includes Elite Dangerous. And what it adds is it's going to be adding all the stuff for the next year or so. It's going to be all their expansions that they're adding. Currently, right now, what it allows you to do is now you can land on these planets, and you'll have like a little buggy or the little like moon buggies or space buggies that you can drive around on the surface of these planets now. So it adds this entire new dynamic to the way the game works. And they're planning on doing loot and crafting and all this kind of stuff, multi-cruise ships and stuff like that. So these are things that are going to come out over the course of time. Way it works is right now, though, if you go buy Elite Dangerous Horizons, this is only on the PC right now. But if you already have Elite Dangerous on your PC, you get 25% off. So it is a full price game, though. It's $60, but it is mostly positive right now. So it's all of Elite Dangerous and then all of this new stuff that's coming out. And from what I understand, it is slated to come to the consoles at some point this year. They haven't given a definitive time frame for it, but it will be coming out. I don't like the way they're doing that. I think it's kind of weird. I think if you want to early access this kind of stuff, God, $60 is a lot, and the fact that you're only discounted it by $25%, so you get to save, you know, what is that, $15. You get to save $15 on it, but right now it's $15 for Elite Dangerous, but it was $30, and even before that it was even more. I think if they wanted to do it the right way, it should be its own expansion for Elite Dangerous. Should be like $30 if you want to do it that way. But I understand why they're doing it this way, because they want to keep it in early access. just to separate the two. I get it, but it doesn't. It's not. It's kind of shady. But I've been having a lot of fun with that on the console. It controls reasonably well with the controller. It's very confusing. So if you plan on playing Elite Dangerous, just go online before you even boot the game up. Like if you want to play it, and go watch everything you can about it. Watch YouTube videos about it. Watch beginners tutorials about it. Watch a whole bunch of shit, because you are going to be so confused with what to do in this game that I'm not even kidding. It's very confusing. So trust me when I say to go check out every tutorial video they offer, because the game doesn't explain much of anything, and most of the tutorials in the game kick you out to a YouTube video to watch a YouTube video. So save yourself the frustration and go watch all that stuff. Try to figure out how most of the basic systems work before you even jump into the game. But it is enjoyable if you just are looking for a space sim that is just huge, and it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. But that's all I really played. Like I said, nothing really came out. I'm gonna have to start going back to my old system of actually emailing and getting in touch with the early access guys, because the PR guy I have, he only really works in like indie games and stuff like that, not so much all the early access stuff. So I'm gonna have to go back to the way I was doing it before and get in touch with these guys myself, just to make sure that I have games to play, because I had been kind of slacking on that. But looking towards the future for the site though, and the podcast, I'm gonna be working on getting more interviews with people. I feel like it'll add a different dynamic to the show. Plus, how long can you listen to me babble on by myself? It's already been a year. But actually, I want to talk about one other thing. So trends that I would like to see change this year, or things that I like. First thing, I don't mind free-to-play games. I'd actually like to see just a better free-to-play model come out. I think what Destiny is doing right now isn't a terrible free-to-play model, where they have the silver currency, which allows you to buy cosmetic stuff, and they're using that to fund in-game events, even if the in-game events aren't that great. I like that model where you buy the base game for X amount of dollars, and then they have a in-game currency that actually allows the game to continue without actually forcing you to buy anything, or relying on that 1% that actually does use that in-game like currency and buys stuff like that to give you free stuff. I really do like that kind of pay model. Some people don't like it. I personally think it's the right way to do it, because it doesn't force anybody to do anything, but at the same time, it knows that people are going to be doing it. So it saves you from having to foot the bill for like a subscription cost, for instance. I like that. Other trends that are weird, though, stuff like this, stuff like the Early Access Horizon thing, like the way that they take advantage of Early Access, not really take advantage of it, but the way they're using the Early Access program. They have enough money. I don't know if releasing an entire expansion through Early Access is the right way to go, considering that there is quite a few people that play Elite Dangerous already. So reselling it as a separate product is weird. So I would like to see Early Access just have better vetting, more games. I'd like to see more people using the Early Access program in the right way. But I can't force developers to do that. There was a couple other things, and now I can't really put my finger on it. Maybe I'll remember by the next podcast. So I only pulled 3 games for you guys. Like I said, not a lot comes out this time of year. So hopefully over the next couple months, this is a lull for movies as well. So it's the winter time. For some reason, a lot of shit doesn't come out, which is funny, because this is when most people spend a lot of time indoors. Which I can understand for movies, people not want to leave their house. But for video games, I'm surprised more stuff doesn't come out around this time. It's usually the beginning of the holiday season, so like October, November, and then you won't see anything really big hit until probably like March, April. So this first game is called BioNight Origins. This game actually looked pretty interesting, considering it didn't have any, doesn't have any reviews yet, but it's $12. It's in early access, Now, this is a hybrid. It says hybrid, but it's an action strategy game. It's a first person. It says first person shooter and real time strategy. So it looks like a tower defense game where you can take control of any specific item on the field at a time. I wish this was Command and Conquer Renegades. I don't know if anybody's ever played that game, but it was basically that. It was basically like a tower defense first person shooter where you could go into the first person shooter part and the real time strategy part, and it was kind of a combined game. It was very bad. I would like to see it redone because the internet was really bad back then, and every time I've ever played that game, I remember just having a mediocre time at best because of how bad the servers were back then. I would love to see it on a current generation of internet. So this looks pretty interesting. It says it's single player, and basically it's hover tank warfare. It looks pretty cool. It's $12. It's weird that it's only single player. I wish it had some reviews so I can get an idea of what exactly it was all about. But I will reach out. Maybe I can get my hands on a copy and get a video, like an actual video for you guys about what this game is. Let's see. Let me scroll through this video. It's hard to really explain because all these videos are just like weird, just gameplay videos that don't really like show anything. It's a lot of zooming in and out like a real-time strategy game would be. And it shows them taking control of the tanks, which doesn't really make any sense to me, but whatever. Alright, this next game is called Endor Light. It's super cheap. That's one of the reasons I picked it. I wanted to grab it. So it's $1.19. So I will be probably putting a video up of this, whether or not I can get a free copy. So it's 60% off. So it's usually only $3, so it's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty much free. It's got 5 reviews that are all positive, and what this is a pixel art style, side-scrolling platformer roguelike. Basically, you're just rogueliking your way around trying to get through the level. What's interesting about this is actually it's a single-player game, but it also has 2-player local co-op. So it has partial controller support. I'm assuming one person can use a controller, the other person can use the keyboard. I think that's super cool. It kind of reminds me a little bit like Spelunky, like a bunch of other roguelikes. You got enemies and stuff, and you run around trying to find the exit. I like the idea of having the co-op of this. It's pretty neat. Like, you don't see co-op roguelikes in this style, but actually it kind of does look almost like a Spelunky clone now that I'm looking at it, but with 2 people instead of 1. But yeah, go check it out. It's pretty. It's cheap and it looks pretty interesting. And if you have a buddy that likes to play these kinds of games, it's only a couple bucks for both of you to go check it out. So go check out Endor Light. Seems pretty awesome. All right, and the last game I got for you guys is another game that does something interesting with a concept we've all had or have played before. So if you've ever played a game like Worms, there's another game similar, as like Battle Tanks, I think, or something. Basically, it's a trajectory-based, like physics-based tank game. So you would, you choose the angle, the degrees that you're shooting your tank at, like your cannon at, and then you're trying to line up your shots and destroy your enemy. It's one of those kind of games. So it's a 1 to 4 player multiplayer game like that. But this game is called Moonshot. It's got 38 reviews, 94% positive. It's $6.39, 20% off for the next like 12 hours or so. So it's usually $8. See, these games are usually the best when you have 4 people. Now, the cool thing about this is the map is constantly moving, because the neat thing is you start off on a little like moon that is orbiting other moons or another planet. So everybody starts on their own little moon, and instead of just having a flat plane like your traditional Worms games to play on, where you're shooting back and forth, you're constantly readjusting your trajectory because you're all orbiting around this this central unit, like central mass. I think it's really interesting. It adds just enough to this game type that makes it different. It's not exactly the same. So you're shooting, you're destroying, bits and pieces of the planets. You have the ability to like jump off and I guess try to like boost your way to a different planet. in case yours is trying to get destroyed. I actually saw in the video, the guy just did that. He jumped off and got shot out of midair. So it's not like, it doesn't look like it's like Worms though, where it's turn-based. It seems to be like you're just constantly shooting at each other, and everybody has like their own number of lives. I think it looks like you have like 3 lives. But it looks really, really cool. It's something that we're all accustomed to as far as a game, that they're doing something completely different with it, and I think that's really cool. That's by Pump Action Games, so go check that out. Moonshot, especially if you have some friends. Again, I wish they would take these multiplayer games that offer local co-op and give them some kind of multiplayer pack of like 4 licenses for the price of 3. But I can only fucking beat that dead horse so much before I just give up. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Hopefully I'll have a video up soon. I've been pretty lax with that over the past couple weeks just because of the holidays and everything. But, now we're at the start of the new year, and we're going to be going full swing and everything. As usual, don't forget, check out earlyaccessmedia.com. Click through the Amazon banner down at the bottom of the website. Make sure you bookmark it. Use it whenever you buy anything off the internet. It really does help out the show. Follow us on Twitter, Early Access PC on Twitter. Go like us on Facebook, Early Access Podcast on Facebook. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Early Access Podcast. Other than that, guys, like I said, nothing really came out. So, get out there, support your indie games and your early access games. And until next time, guys, this is Angelo with Early Access Media and Early Access Podcast, and be awesome.